Good morning, everyone. Respected dignitaries, resource person of this national webinar, Dr. Mudula Bele ma'am, President of the webinar, Principal Dr. Milind Gudre sir, PDUP College, Tasgaon, respected Principal, Dr. Vijaya Chavan ma'am of Sri Vijay Singh, Coordinator, Dr. Suresh Patil sir, Criterion 3 Head, Dr. Arjun Kumar sir of PDUP College, Tasgaon, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. C.B. Mane, Criterion 3 Head, Dr. Ajara Matigre sir, of all IQAC members, Criterion heads, faculty of both colleges, students and dear participants. Today, internal quality assurance cell of Sri Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon and Padma Bhushan Dr. Vasantrao Dada Patil Mahavidyalaya, Tasgaon is jointly organizing national webinar on basics of IPR patenting in academic research. I again welcome all participants of this program. Moving forward to the preface and welcome for the national webinar. I request Principal Dr. to preface and welcome the program. Principal ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Let me first welcome you all. In this national webinar on basics of IPR and patenting in academics and research. Respected resource person for today's national webinar, Dr. Mrudula Bele Madam, Principal of Padma Bhushan Vasantdada Patil Mahavidyalaya, Dr. Milind Gudre sir, the IQAC coordinators of both institutions, Professor S.S. Patil sir and Dr. C.B. Mane, my all fellow colleagues of IQAC team, the team organizer, the faculty, researchers, students from various colleges and places joined in this webinar. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all in this precious occasion of the national webinar. Everyone is now familiar with the importance of patenting, copyright, technology, transfer, intellectual property, and number of other things which are related with intellectual property, no doubt. But very few of us have filed patents and copyrights. Intellectual property plays a very important role in creating new future and new avenues, new opportunities for everyone, of course, the total mankind. The research which is basic, applied and transitional creates new technologies and new products which can be used for betterment of the mankind. The list is very long and impressive, no doubt. An entire new industry can also be created with this intellectual property, no doubt. But we are very little knowing about the inception of the innovation, the evaluation of this innovation, the protection and commercialization of the intellectual property. In a higher education system, we all know that intellectual property issues are many, but often they are neglected and they are more complex to solve even. So I hope that this opportunity, this webinar will help us a lot to understand the intellectual property in higher education also, and how can we direct our intellectual property in patenting and commercialization. I hope respected Mrudula Madam's talk will navigate you in exploring this wonderful world of intellectual property rights. This is a second collaborative activity under the umbrella of joint activity which is done by Padma Bhushan Vasantdada Patil Mahavidyalaya and Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon. I extend my sincere gratitude for the cooperation which is given by Padma Bhushan Vasantdada Patil College Principal Dr. Milind Gudre sir, the IQAC members of this college, and the management of Swami Vivekananda Shikshan Sanstha. For this collaboration, they have shown their willingness, and with a great zeal and enthusiasm, they have helped us every possible thing in every possible way for organization of this national webinar. And this collaboration has proved a great success and improved our teamwork. It has also enhanced the innovation, efficient processes, and communication among our faculty. Such activities will further empower both the institution, and such collaborative activities will help us in the next assessment of course. Uh, and with this, I once again welcome you all. Let me speak something about our institution, which is Vijay Singh Yadav Mahavidyalaya, Pet Vadgaon. It has been established in 1999 by Sri Shahu Shikshan Prasarak Seva Mandal, Pet Vadgaon. It is a higher education institution which is offering education in three different streams: arts, commerce, and science. And at this moment, we do have about 1,300 students. Of course, it is an undergraduate level institution. And since the inception, our institution has proved its abilities in all areas like cultural, sports, and academics. Our faculty is always enthusiastic and engaged in research. And both the faculty from both the colleges, Padma Bhushan Vasantdada Patil College and Vijay Singh Yadav College, they are actively engaged in research and innovations. I hope that this talk of Dr. Mrudula Bele Madam will help us a lot in filing the patents and copyrights and all things which are related with intellectual property. And once again, I welcome you all in this national webinar. Thank you and have a nice time ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request to IQAC coordinator, Dr. C.B. Mane sir, to introduce resource person, Dr. Mrudula Bele ma'am. C.B. Mane sir. Good morning, one and all. Respected dignitaries, resource person of this national webinar, Dr. Mrudula Bele Madam, President of the webinar, Principal Dr. Milind Hujre sir, respected Principal of our college, Dr. Vijay Chavan Madam, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Suresh Patil sir, Criteria Third Head, Dr. Arjun Kumbar sir of PDUP College, Tasgaon, IQAC Co-Coordinator and Anchor, Dr. Dinesh Bhandari sir, Criterion Third Head, Dr. Rajaram Atigre of Sri Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon, all IQAC members, Criterion Heads, faculty of both college, students, and dear participants. Today, we have gathered here for national webinar on basics of IPR, patenting in academic research. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our resource person, Dr. Mrudula Bele Madam, who is going to talk to us about basics of IPR, patenting in academic research. Madam was a pharmacist by training with a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences, having strong interest in intellectual property rights and regulatory affairs for pharmaceuticals. Additionally, she possesses a postgraduate diploma in patent law from Nalsar University of Law, LLB from Pune University, and LLM from University of Turin, Italy. She attended a one-year Master of Law, that is LLM, course jointly conducted by World Intellectual Property Organization and University of Turin, Italy. Under full fellowship from World Intellectual Property Organization, the fellowship is given every year to 11 teachers of intellectual property law. Madam was the only Indian to get the fellowship in the year 2012-13. The course was fully funded by WIPO, amounting to around 30,000 euros, that is near about rupees 26 lakhs. She has attended a 15 days training in Tokyo 2 times on Japanese patent law. The training was fully funded by Japanese Patent Office and World Intellectual Property Organization. Currently, Madam is working as an associate professor at NDMUPS College of Pharmacy, Nashik. Along with teaching core pharmaceutical sciences subjects, Madam involved in teaching subjects such as intellectual property law, research methodology, and drug laboratory affairs to undergraduate and postgraduate students. Madam wrote 3 books and published several research papers in national and international journals. Additionally, Madam engaged in consultation assignments for the pharmaceutical industry in the area of conventional and novel pharmaceuticals and cosmetic formulations. Madam is also working as a freelance patent consultant for clients in India and abroad in the domains of chemicals and pharmaceuticals. Madam authored a column in reputed newspaper Lok Sattha on various aspects of intellectual property law. The column was in a simple storytelling which could be easily comprehended by a novice. The compilation of writing has been published as book by the name by Rajhans Prakashan. The book has received several awards, including the prestigious Maharashtra State Government's Award for the Best Book, published in the year 2017 on a topic related to economics. Recently, Madam has published 2 books, Koronacha Krishnachaye on COVID and Ashihi Ek Zunj on the role of Indian pharma company Cipla in the African AIDS crisis. Both the books are being critically acclaimed. This is the brief introduction of our resource person, Dr. Murdula Bele Madam. Our speaker spent almost her entire career for advising people in this subject. So let's welcome Dr. Murdula Bele Madam. I am sure we all enjoy getting to know basics of IPR patenting in academic research. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Now it is time for the valuable talk of today's resource person, Dr. Murdula Bele ma'am. I request Honorable ma'am to enlighten us with the resourceful thoughts. Bele ma'am.
Thank you, and thank you for the kind introduction. I hope my slides are visible. Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Good.
Yes,
Okay, so the topic for today's webinar is basics of IPR, patenting in academic research. So as the name suggests, or as the topic suggests, we will be discussing only one part of IPR, that is patents. However, I would like to tell you here that IPR includes IPR is a very big umbrella under which we have copyrights and trademarks and patents and geographical indicators and trade secrets and plant varieties. These are the different types of IP, of which 2 IPs which are very important for academic researchers are patents and copyrights, of which I'll be talking about patents today. And that too only the academic angle of the patent. So if you are doing research in academics, if you are an academic researcher, then how to identify an invention which is made by you and how to identify whether that invention is eligible to get a patent. We'll speak only about that. So what is intellectual property? As the name suggests, बौद्धिक संपदा हे जे नाव आहे त्या नावावरूनच सजेस्ट होतं की intellectual property means creation of intellect which can be converted into property or which can be converted into money. आपल्याला भारतीय लोकांना स्थावर आणि जंगम मालमत्ता माहिती असते, म्हणजे आपल्याकडे किती जमीन आहे किंवा किती सोनं नाणं आहे, किती पैसे आहेत, हीच प्रॉपर्टी आपल्याला माहिती असते. पण आपल्या बुद्धीच्या आपल्या आयडियाजमुळे पण आपण प्रॉपर्टी क्रिएट करू शकतो. ह्याचा अवेअरनेस येण्यामध्ये आपण थोडे मागे आहोत. So as the name suggests, it is a creation of mind which can be converted into money, which can be converted into property. and they usually give the creator, so be it copyright or the trademark or a patent, what is the right the trademark holder or patent holder or copyright holder has. The right is to exclude others from using it without your permission. So तुमचं इन्व्हेन्शन आहे, त्यावरती तुम्ही पेटंट घेतलाय तर तुमच्या परवानगीशिवाय ते कोणीही वापरू शकणार नाही. तुमचं नॉव्हेल आहे आणि त्यावर तुम्ही कॉपीराइट घेतलाय तर तुमच्या परवानगीशिवाय त्या नॉव्हेल मधलं कोणीही काही कॉपी करणार नाही. सो इट इज अ राईट टू एक्सक्लूड अदर्स फ्रॉम युजिंग or your creation without your permission for a certain period of time. It is a limited right. So त्याला एक आयुष्य असतं आणि त्या आयुष्यानंतर मात्र ते इन्व्हेन्शन किंवा ती नॉव्हेल ही फ्री होते आणि एनीबडी कॅन यूज इट विदाउट युअर परमिशन. बट ड्युरिंग द लाईफ ऑफ that patent or during the life of that copyrighted novel, nobody can use it without permission. And if somebody uses it after taking your permission, obviously you are going to create wealth. You are going to get money for that. साध्या दोन प्रकार मी जे प्रॉपर्टीचे सांगितले म्हणजे स्थावर मालमत्ता, जंगल मालमत्ता आणि बौद्धिक संपदा, ह्याच्यामध्ये काय साम्य आहेत तर जसे इतर प्रकारच्या प्रॉपर्टी विकून तुम्हाला पैसे कमवता येतात तसंच इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी विकूनही तुम्हाला पैसे कमवता येतात. आणि जसं वडिलोपार्जित आपल्याकडे जमीन किंवा सोनं नाणं चालत येतं तसंच इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी पण चालत येऊ शकते. सो इट कॅन बी इनहेरिटेड जस्ट लाईक एनी अदर फॉर्म ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी. बट देर आर सर्टन डिफरन्सेस बिटवीन अदर फॉर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी अँड इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी. व्हॉट आर दीज डिफरन्सेस? The first difference is intellectual property is intangible. It cannot be measured. तुम्ही तुमच्याकडे किती जमीन आहे, किती एकर जमीन आहे मोजू शकता, किती किलो सोनं आहे मोजू शकता, पण तुमच्याकडे किती आयडिया आहे ती तुम्ही मोजू शकत नाही आणि म्हणून इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी इज ऑलवेज इंटँजिबल. अनदर डिफरन्स इज इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी इज नॉन रायव्हलस. म्हणजे काय की समजा तुमच्याकडे 10 एकर जमीन आहे आणि त्यातल्या 1 एकर जमिनीच्या तुकड्यावरती कोणीतरी अतिक्रमण केलं तर तुमच्याकडे 9 एकर जमीन राहील आणि त्या माणसाकडे 1 एकर राहील. किंवा तुमच्याकडे घरामध्ये समजा 10 तोळे सोनं होतं आणि त्यातले 2 तोळे कोणीतरी चोरले तर तुमच्याकडे 8 तोळे सोनं राहतात आणि त्या दुसऱ्या चोरणाऱ्याला 2 तोळे सोनं मिळतं. बट इफ यू हॅव अन आयडिया देन इफ समबडी स्टील्स, would you please mute your mics?
All participants, please mute your voice. Mute yourself.
Okay, so if somebody steals your idea, then even if he has stolen your idea, he is using your idea, you still have it. जसं जमीन तुमची चोरली की तुमची कमी होते किंवा सोनं तुमचं चोरलं तर तुमचं कमी होतं, तशी तुमची कल्पना जर कोणी चोरली तर ती कमी होत नाही. अँड दॅट इज व्हॉट इज मेंट बाय इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी बीइंग नॉन रायव्हलस. ही जी कोट दिसताय तुम्हाला ही कोट थॉमस जेफरसनची आहे. सो ही सेज अबाउट इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टी दॅट ही हू रिसीव्स एन आयडिया फ्रॉम मी रिसीव्स इन्स्ट्रक्शन हिमसेल्फ विदाउट लेसनिंग माइंड as he who lights his taper at mine. Taper म्हणजे मशाल. So he who lights his taper at mine receives light without darkening me. So एखाद्याने माझ्या मशालीवर स्वतःची मशाल पेटवून घेतली तर माझा प्रकाश कमी होत नाही. तसंच माझी आयडिया जर कोणी घेतली वापरली तर माझी कल्पना माझी इन्फॉर्मेशन कमी होत नाही. So another feature of intellectual property which differentiates it from other forms of property are it is non-rivalous. Third feature of intellectual property is it is non-excludable. याचा अर्थ काय आहे की जर तुम्हाला जमिनीचं रक्षण करायचं असेल, लोकांनी तुमच्या जमिनीत शिरू नये अशी तुमची इच्छा असेल तर तुम्ही जमिनीभोवती कुंपण घालता. किंवा पैसे सोनं नाणं चोरू नये अशी इच्छा असेल तर ती तुम्ही बँकेत ठेवता. पण हाऊ वुड यू पुट फेन्स अराउंड युअर आयडियाज? यू कॅनॉट डू दॅट. सो यू कांट पुट फेन्सेस अराउंड युअर आयडियाज अँड देअरफॉर it is very difficult to exclude others from using your ideas. Therefore intellectual property is non excludable आणि म्हणून तुम्हाला मग तुमच्या इंटेलेक्च्युअल प्रॉपर्टीचं रक्षण तुमचं तुम्ही करू शकत नाही, त्यासाठी तुम्हाला गव्हर्नमेंटची मदत लागते. And therefore the government has made different types of IP laws like patent law, trademark law, copyright law, so that the government can help you in excluding others from using your intellectual property. So intellectual property is intangible, it is non-rivalous, and it is non-excludable, and these are the features of intellectual property which differentiate it from the other forms of property. Now, in economics, असं म्हटलं जातं की समजा तुम्ही एक प्रोफेसर आहात, एक्सक्यूज मी, समजा तुम्ही एक प्रोफेसर आहात आणि तुम्ही तुमच्या लॅब मध्ये काहीतरी शोध लावलाय. आय होप आय कॅन स्पीक इन मराठी.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no, if you wish, it can be completely
yes, ma'am,
English,
yes.
or it can be a mixture of English. You let me know.
It can be mixture.
All right.
Sometime you can
Easier to
Marathi also, ma'am.
Right.
Because some students are from arts faculty.
Right. Okay. So समजा तुम्ही अकॅडमिक रिसर्चर आहात आणि तुम्ही तुमच्या लॅब मध्ये काहीतरी शोध लावला आहे आणि तुमच्या असं लक्षात आलं की हा शोध खूप महत्वाचा आहे आणि हे प्रोडक्ट जर आपण कारखान्यात बनवायला लागलो तर ह्याचे भरपूर पैसे मिळू शकतात असं तुम्हाला वाटतंय. पण अर्थात तुम्ही अकॅडमिक प्रोफेसर आहात त्यामुळे तुमच्याकडे फॅक्टरी वगैरे काही नाहीये. सो तुम्ही एखाद्या इंडस्ट्रीकडे जाता आणि इंडस्ट्रीला तुम्हाला हे विचारायचं आहे की तुमचं हे संशोधन इंडस्ट्रीला विकत घ्यायचं आहे का, त्या बदल्यात इंडस्ट्रीने तुम्हाला पैसे द्यावेत आणि त्यांनी ते मोठ्या स्केलवर बनवावं. तर अशा वेळी जेव्हा एखादा प्रोफेसर एखाद्या इंडस्ट्रीकडे जातो आणि अर्थात इफ ही वॉन्ट्स दॅट द इंडस्ट्री शुड बाय हिज इन्व्हेन्शन, देन ही विल हॅव टू डिस्क्लोज हिज इन्व्हेन्शन कम्प्लिटली. माझं इन्व्हेन्शन काय आहे, प्रोडक्ट काय आहे, ते मी कसं बनवलं, रिॲक्टंट्स काय वापरले, हे मला त्या इंडस्ट्रीला सांगायला लागेल सगळं. मग हे समजल्यानंतर समजा त्या इंडस्ट्रीनी असं केलं की दे डिसाइड टू कम्प्लिटली ignore your invention and they say that we are not interested in buying your invention, so they turn you away, and then later they start manufacturing this invention at a larger scale without taking your permission. So they basically steal your invention because you had to disclose your invention to be able to involve the industry in manufacturing the invention on a larger scale. So you get nothing and the industry literally steals your invention. Asं होऊ शकतं. So whenever this happens, that whenever an inventor approaches an industry to make them buy his or her research, then he is always in dilemma. He doesn't want to disclose his invention because he always fears that his invention would be stolen. But he also knows that if he doesn't disclose his invention, the industry is not going to buy it. So he's always confused. He is always caught in this dilemma of to disclose the invention or not to disclose the invention. असा गोंधळ त्याच्या मनामध्ये नेहमी उडालेला असतो. So Arrow नावाचा एक मोठा इकॉनॉमिस्ट होऊन गेला, and this Arrow said that this dilemma which the inventor always faces while trying to innovate his invention. Now, what is the difference between invention and innovation? Invention is on a smaller scale, but when the invention starts getting manufactured on a larger scale, on an industrial scale, then it is called an innovation. So invention has to get converted into innovation, and that will happen when somebody starts manufacturing it on a larger scale. So हा जो इकॉनॉमिस्ट होता Arrow नावाचा, त्याचं असं म्हणणं आहे की एव्हरी इन्व्हेंटर इज कॉट इन दिस डिलेमा ऑफ टू डिस्क्लोज हिज इन्व्हेन्शन ऑर नॉट टू डिस्क्लोज हिज इन्व्हेन्शन. बिकॉज ॲज आय सेड की जर इंडस्ट्रीने त्याचं इन्व्हेन्शन चोरलं तर त्याला दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द प्रॉब्लेम ऑफ फ्री रायडर्स. सो पीपल ट्राय टू स्टील युअर इन्व्हेन्शन अँड मेक मनी आउट ऑफ इट विदाउट पेइंग यू एनिथिंग. सो दिस डिलेमा इन विच द इन्व्हेंटर इज ऑलवेज कॉट इज कॉल्ड Arrow's information paradox. He's caught in this dilemma of to disclose or not to disclose. and which is called as Arrow's information paradox. So absent a property right, आणि हे का होतं, बिकॉज ह्या डिलेमातून सुटका करण्यामध्ये पेटंट राईट्सची किंवा कॉपीराईट्सचा खूप महत्वाचा रोल आहे. So now if I am an academic researcher and I have taken a patent, I have applied for a patent, and then I go to the industry and ask them whether they want to manufacture my invention, whether they want to license it out from me, then I would not be caught in this dilemma. कारण मला माहिती आहे की त्यांनी जरी नाही सांगितलं मला घ्यायचंय तरी नंतर ते हे चोरू शकणार नाही, because the patent is in my name. So if they try to steal it without paying me the royalty, then I can sue them in the courts. So this is the role of patent rights, that the inventor is not caught in the dilemma. He can freely disclose the invention and the industry cannot steal it because he has applied for a patent. So या ज्या इन्फॉर्मेशन पॅराडॉक्स आहे किंवा हा जो डिलेमा आहे ॲटलीस्ट त्यातून सुटका होते त्या इन्व्हेंटरची, because he has taken a patent on this. If the system of patents is absent, then the free riders would be minting the money and the inventor gets nothing. So there's an inherent conflict. There is always an inherent conflict between the desire to disclose the information and the need to hide it. And this conflict is resolved when the patent is taken on the invention. I hope you understand this. So the patent gives an inventor an incentive to invent. त्यांनी का एखाद्या इन्व्हेंटरनी का कुठला तरी शोध लावावा, का रिसर्च करावा, कारण त्याच्यात तो रिसर्च करून त्याला यावर पेटंट मिळायची शक्यता असते, and that is the incentive to invent. Because if he gets a patent and if the invention starts getting manufactured, then he will be paid for he'll be getting the royalty and he's paid for his research. Patent also gives the inventor an incentive to disclose. कुठल्याही इन्व्हेन्शन वर पेटंट घेण्यासाठी त्या इन्व्हेंटरला ते इन्व्हेन्शन कसं केलं हे कम्प्लिटली डिस्क्लोज करावं लागतं. If you go to Google Patents, which is a free patent database, just put in any keywords and you will find several patents on those keywords, which are based on those keywords, and you will see that the invention, you just download any one patent document and you will see that in order to get a patent, the inventor has to completely disclose the invention. Now, if the patent system is absent, then the inventor would never disclose the invention because he wants to hide it. He wants to keep it a secret. But if he wants to get a patent, then he will have to disclose it, because he would not get the patent unless he discloses it completely. So that is the incentive to disclose. आणि डिस्क्लोजरचा फायदा काय होतो की जेव्हा पेटंट एक्सपायर होतं, पेटंटचं लाईफ 20 वर्षाचं असतं. सो वेन द पेटंट एक्सपायर्स, देन एव्हरीबडी वुड बी एबल टू रेप्लिकेट दॅट इन्व्हेन्शन, आणि मग त्यानंतर त्याला ते सिक्रेट ठेवता येत नाही, कोणीही ते बनवायला लागतं आणि मग त्या वस्तूची किंमत कमी व्हायला लागते. अँड द पेटंट ऑल्सो रिवॉर्ड्स द इन्व्हेंटर with the incentive to innovate. As I told you, what is the difference between invention and innovation? When the invention starts getting manufactured on a industry scale, then it is called as innovate. So what is the incentive to innovate? की हे इन्व्हेन्शन इनोव्हेशन मध्ये जेव्हा कन्वर्ट होईल तेव्हा इन्व्हेंटरला रॉयल्टी मिळेल. So patent gives the inventor an incentive to invent, an incentive to disclose the invention, and an incentive to innovate his invention. So that is why we need patents. Now, what is a patent? Patent is called, a patent in simple words is a contract between the inventor and the government. So जेव्हा आपण कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट बद्दल बोलतो तेव्हा दोन्ही पार्ट्यांचा काहीतरी फायदा झाला पाहिजे, बरोबर? Both the parties, that is the government and the inventor, should have something, should be benefited out of entering into the contract. Now, what does the inventor get? Obviously, the monopoly. मी तुम्हाला मगाशी सांगितलं की it is a right to exclude others from using his own invention, which means he gets the monopoly. त्याच्या परवानगीशिवाय कोणीही ते इन्व्हेन्शन बनवू शकत नाही, विकू शकत नाही, वापरू शकत नाही, एक्सपोर्ट करू शकत नाही. So then he gets the monopoly कुठल्याही वस्तूवर मार्केटमध्ये जेव्हा मोनोपोली असते तेव्हा ऑब्व्हियसली देर इज नो कॉम्पिटिशन. And when there is no competition, then the inventor can sell his invention at whatever price he wishes. So obviously, till the patent expires on an invention, the goods are very costly. Once the patent expires, then everybody starts manufacturing it. There is a competition which is created in the market, and then the prices come down. Okay, so that is what the inventor gets. Now, what does the government gets? Because the other party in the contract is government. So, number one, एक म्हणजे गव्हर्नमेंटला हे मिळतं की वेगवेगळ्या टेक्नॉलॉजीमध्ये रिसर्च चालू राहतो कारण ते पेटंट्स देतात. सो रिसर्च चालू राहिल्यामुळे न्यू टेक्नॉलॉजीज आर डेव्हलप्ड अँड द इकॉनॉमी इम्प्रूव्स, इकॉनॉमी ऑफ द कंट्री इम्प्रूव्स. So that is one benefit which the government gets. And the second benefit, as I mentioned just now, is the disclosure of the invention. So the government gets the disclosure of the invention so that after the patent expires, the life of a patent is 20 years. So after 20 years, when the patent expires, the invention comes in public domain. आणि प्रत्येक बारीक सारीक माहिती त्या इन्व्हेन्शनची की ती कशी बनवायचं, त्याला काय स्टार्टिंग मटेरियल वापरायचं, कुठल्या स्टेप्स आहेत त्या बनवण्यातल्या, एव्हरीथिंग इज डिस्क्लोज्ड. सो कुणीही माणूस त्या क्षेत्रात काम करणारा ते बघून ते इन्व्हेन्शन कॉपी करू शकतो. आणि कॉपी करून कॉपीड प्रॉडक्ट बाजारात यायला लागलं की किमती कमी व्हायला लागतात आणि त्यामुळे सामान्य माणसाचा फायदा होतो. सो द गव्हर्नमेंट गेट्स द डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ द इन्व्हेन्शन अँड द इन्व्हेंटर गेट्स द मोनोपोली, अँड दॅट इज दिस क्रिएट्स अ विन विन सिच्युएशन फॉर both the parties in the contract, that is the inventor and the government. Now, what is an invention? First of all, we need to understand की आपण invention कशाला म्हणतोय, आणि त्यासाठी we need to realize the difference between invention and discovery. These are two terms which we generally use as synonyms, but they are not. So what is the difference between discovery and invention? It is very important to understand, because you can't get patents on discoveries. You get patents only on inventions. So जेव्हा एखादी वस्तू अस्तित्वात असते आणि ती फक्त तुम्ही शोधून काढता किंवा तुम्हाला सापडते, त्याला डिस्कव्हरी म्हणतात. म्हणजे समजा मी एखाद्या जंगलामध्ये ट्रेकला गेले, हाईकला गेले आणि तिथे मला एका वनस्पतीची एक नवी स्पीशीज सापडली. ओके, so that species has not been created by me. I am not the creator of that species. It always was there in nature, but I have discovered it accidentally for the first time. So मी जर असं म्हणाले की मला या प्लांट स्पीशीज वरती पेटंट घ्यायचंय तर ते मला मिळणार नाही, कारण पेटंट मिळण्यासाठी तुम्ही ती वस्तू क्रिएट करणं, मॅन्युफॅक्चर करणं महत्वाचं असतं. If it has been created by nature and you have just discovered it, then it is definitely not patentable. But if you have created that product in your lab, it did not exist before you created it, then it is called an invention, and that is patentable. So you don't get patents on discoveries, you get patents only on inventions. And what is an invention for the purpose of patent law? पेटंट लॉ साठी इन्व्हेन्शनची डेफिनेशन काय आहे? सो इन्व्हेन्शन मीन्स अ न्यू प्रोडक्ट और अ प्रोसेस इन्व्हॉल्विंग अन इन्व्हेंटिव्ह स्टेप अँड केपेबल ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल ऍप्लिकेशन. नाव यातल्या प्रत्येक शब्दाबद्दल आपण डिटेलमध्ये बोलणार आहोत. सो इट इज आयदर अ प्रोडक्ट और अ प्रोसेस विच इज न्यू, it involves an inventive step, and it is capable of industrial application. So then only you get a patent on something. Okay. So first and foremost, जेव्हा तुम्ही काहीतरी तुम्हाला असं वाटतंय की तुम्ही काहीतरी शोधलंय आणि त्यावरती पेटंट घ्यायला पाहिजे, तर पहिला प्रश्न स्वतःला हा विचारा की हे इन्व्हेन्शन आहे की डिस्कव्हरी आहे. And if it is a discovery, then it is definitely not patentable. Please go ahead and just write a research paper and get it published, because you are not going to get a patent on this. The second question you should ask is whether your invention is a product or a process to make a product. एखादं उत्पादन आहे का किंवा एखादं उत्पादन बनवण्याची प्रक्रिया आहे का? Is it a product or a process to make a product? If it is not, it is neither a product nor a process to make a product, then it is not patentable. I'll give you some examples. For example, you have devised a new method तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी रुबिक क्यूब पाहिला असेल. रुबिक क्यूब म्हणजे तो गेम आहे, आपण बसल्या बसल्या खेळतो. सो इफ यू हॅव come up with a new idea or a new method of solving this puzzle of Rubik cube. हा रुबिक क्यूब पटपट रिझॉल्व्ह करण्याची काहीतरी पद्धत तुम्ही नवी शोधून काढली आहे. हे इन्व्हेन्शन आहे का? हो, कारण त्या पद्धतीने त्या आधी कोणी ते केलं नव्हतं. पण इज इट अ प्रोडक्ट, अ प्रोसेस टू सॉल्व्ह अ पझल? ही प्रोडक्ट आहे का? नाही. इज इट अ प्रोसेस टू मेक सम प्रोडक्ट? It cannot be a process to solve a puzzle. It has to be a process to make a product. So a method of solving Rubik cube is neither a product nor a process to make a product. So it is not patentable. Has to be a invention. Number two, the invention has to be a product or a process to make a product. दुसरा प्रश्न तुम्ही स्वतःला हा विचारा की हे एखादं प्रोडक्ट आहे का किंवा एखादं प्रोडक्ट बनवायची प्रोसेस आहे का? इफ द आन्सर इज येस, देन प्लीज गो अहेड and then find out the other eligibility criteria. If the answer is no, then understand that it is not patentable. Now समजा ह्याचं उत्तर हो आलं. So your invention is either a product or a process to make a product. Then ask next questions. The first question you should ask is whether it is novel. हे जे तीन आहेत, novelty, inventive step आणि industrial application, these are the three criteria of patentability. जर तुमचं इन्व्हेन्शन हे प्रोडक्ट किंवा प्रोसेस असेल तर ते न्यू असलं पाहिजे, त्यामध्ये इन्व्हेंटिव्ह स्टेप असली पाहिजे किंवा ते नॉन ऑब्व्हियस असलं पाहिजे आणि त्यामध्ये काहीतरी इंडस्ट्रियल ऍप्लिकेशन त्याचं असायला हवं. Now let us see one by one what do we mean. आणि हा जो लास्ट क्रायटेरिया आहे त्याबद्दल नंतर आपण बोलू की इट शुड नॉट फॉल अंडर नॉन पेटंटेबल सब्जेक्ट मॅटर. So let's see one by one what is novelty, inventive step and industrial application. Okay, so when an invention is said to be novel, when it is not published in any written publication, it is not disclosed orally, it is not being sold, it is not applied, it is not offered for sale, it is otherwise not known to the public anywhere in the world, then it is said to be novel. केव्हा एखादा इन्व्हेन्शन नवं आहे किंवा नॉवेल आहे असं म्हटलं जातं? जेव्हा त्याबद्दल कुठेही काही लिहून आलेलं नाही, ते कुणीही कुणाला तोंडी सांगितलेलं नाही, ते कुणीही विकत नाही, ते कुणीही विकण्यासाठी ऑफर केली नाही किंवा अदरवाइज ते जगात कुणालाही माहित नाही. Now let us see one by one what does this mean. So it is not published in written publication. What do you mean by written publication? And this last sentence, that is anywhere in the world, applies to each part of this sentence, which means it is not published in written publication anywhere in the world. It is not disclosed orally anywhere in the world. It is not sold anywhere in the world, not offered for sale anywhere in the world, or is not otherwise known to the public anywhere in the world. असा ह्याचा अर्थ आहे. So what do we mean by the first part? That is, it is not published in written publication. So what do we mean by written publication? It can be a research paper, it can be a patent, it can be a book article, it can be a news story, anything. जर त्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल जगात कुठेही काहीही लिहून आलेलं असेल आणि मग हे लिखाण आयदर एखाद्या रिसर्च पेपर मध्ये झालं असेल किंवा एखाद्या पेटंट मध्ये झालं असेल किंवा एखाद्या बुक मध्ये, देन द इन्व्हेन्शन इज सेड टू बी नॉट नॉव्हेल. सो इफ असं काहीही त्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल कुठेही लिहून आलेलं नाहीये तर it may be novel. Then the second thing is it is not disclosed orally anywhere in the world. Now it is very difficult to prove oral disclosure. समजा मी आज माझ्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल एका कुठल्या तरी माणसाशी चार भिंतीआड बोलले आणि नंतर मी त्यावर पेटंट फाईल केलं, तर तो जर माणूस म्हणाला की अरे हिनी मला हे इन्व्हेन्शन आधीच ओरली डिस्क्लोज केलं होतं त्यामुळे यावर पेटंट नको मिळायला, तर अशा वेळी त्या माणसाकडे हे प्रूव्ह करायचा काहीही मार्ग नसतो. ही कॅनॉट प्रूव्ह दॅट it was disclosed. But sometimes the oral disclosure can be very well proven. For example, you are reading a paper in a conference and your speech is being video recorded. त्यावरती डेट आहे. किंवा you are facing your PhD thesis. तुमचं PhDचं वायवा चालू आहे आणि त्यामध्ये तुम्ही त्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल ओरली डिस्क्लोज केलंय आणि त्याचा व्हिडिओ रेकॉर्ड कोणीतरी काढलाय. नाव या तुमच्या इन्व्हेन्शन बद्दल नंतर तुमच्या PhD व्हायवा नंतर जर तुम्हाला इच्छा झाली की मला यावर पेटंट घ्यायचं आहे आणि तुम्ही इफ यू अप्लाय फॉर अ पेटंट and then if someone who was present in your PhD defense approaches the patent office and said that this was disclosed orally in the viva and this is a proof of the disclosure, this is a video of the disclosure, then you will not get a patent. Okay, so moral of the story is, if you want to publish, you want to take a patent on your invention, do not disclose it orally to anybody. Do not read a paper, do not disclose it in a conference, do not disclose it in your PhD viva. मग काय करायचं तर तुमचा व्हायवा व्हायच्या आधी किंवा पेपर वाचायच्या आधी तुम्ही पेटंट फाईल करा. सो द डेट ऑफ फायलिंग पेटंट शुड बी बिफोर द डेट ऑफ डिस्क्लोजिंग इट ओरली. समजा तुमच्या PhD थिसिस तुम्ही युनिव्हर्सिटीकडे सबमिट केला तर त्यावर एक डेट टाकली जाते, डेटचा शिक्का मारला जातो. सो ते झालं रिटन पब्लिकेशन, डिस्क्लोजर झालं तुमच्या इन्व्हेन्शनचं. सो इफ यू वॉन्ट टू फाईल अ पेटंट फर्स्ट अँड देन सबमिट युअर थिसिस, देन राईट अ पेपर अँड देन, but if you do that before the date of filing the patent, then the novelty is lost and you yourself have killed the novelty of your invention. Third criteria is it is not being sold anywhere in the world. म्हणजे त्या प्रोडक्ट बद्दल कुणी काही लिहिलेलं नाहीये किंवा कुणी ओरली डिस्क्लोजही केलेलं नाहीये, पण ती वस्तू अवेलेबल आहे मार्केटमध्ये, म्हणजे ऑब्व्हियसली ती नवीन नाहीये. इट इज नॉट ऑफर्ड फॉर सेल. ऑफरिंग फॉर सेल म्हणजे काय? ऑफरिंग फॉर सेल इज एक्झिबिटिंग इन अन एक्झिबिशन. तुम्ही पाहिलं असेल की आपण एखाद्या प्रदर्शनात गेलो तर तिथे कधी कधी काही कार डिस्प्लेला ठेवलेल्या असतात. आता ह्या कार तिथे काही विकल्या जात नसतात, पण त्या तिथे का ठेवलेल्या असतात? बिकॉज दे आर बिंग ऑफर्ड फॉर सेल इन द नियर फ्युचर. सो तुम्ही जर एखादं नवीन डिव्हाइस बनवलं असेल तर ते कधीही कुठल्याही प्रदर्शनात मांडू नका जर तुम्हाला भविष्यात त्यावर जाऊन पेटंट घ्यायचं असेल तर. आणि लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट, इट इज अदरवाइज नोन टू द पब्लिक समवेअर इन द वर्ल्ड. ह्याचा अर्थ काय? ह्याचा अर्थ आहे ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज. म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल, तुम्ही हळदीच्या पेटंटची गोष्ट सगळ्यांनी ऐकली आहे. जेव्हा मी माझ्या मुलीचा काहीतरी अभ्यास करताना हात कापतो तेव्हा येऊन स्वयंपाकघरातून एक चिमूटभर हळद घेऊन येते आणि तिच्या जखमेवरती दाबते. मी असं का करते? कारण मी माझ्या आईला ते करताना पाहिलेलं असतं. माझ्या आईला हे कसं माहित असतं? कारण तिने तिच्या आईला ते करताना पाहिलेलं असतं. तो वर्षानुवर्ष हे नॉलेज आपल्याकडे पिढ्यानपिढ्या पास होत आलेलं आहे. हळद ही अँटीसेप्टिक आहे असं मी समजा कुठे लिहिलेलं वाचलं नाहीये, कोणी मला सांगितलं नाहीये. हळद म्हणजे काही अँटीसेप्टिक यूज साठी आपण विकत आणत नाही, पण तरी ते आपल्याला माहित असतं. सो हे अदरवाईज माहित असलेलं जे नॉलेज आहे त्याला ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज म्हणतात. आणि ते जगात, म्हणजे समजा एखाद्या वनस्पतीच्या एका फॉर्म्युलेशन वरती मी पेटंट भारतामध्ये फाईल केलंय, पण त्या वनस्पतीचं ज्ञान अमेझॉन मधल्या खोऱ्यातल्या काही आदिवासींना अनेक वर्षापासून आहे, तर मला ते पेटंट मिळत नाही. कारण इट इज अ ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज ऑफ दॅट ट्राईब विच इज लोकेटेड समवेअर इन द वर्ल्ड. So that is the meaning of novelty. An invention would be said to be novel if it is not published in written publication, not disclosed orally, not being sold, not offered for sale, or is otherwise known to the public anywhere in the world. Then what is inventive step or non-obviousness? काय होतं की समजा मी एखादा शोध, हे अकॅडमिक रिसर्च मध्ये तर नेहमी होतं की समजा मी एखादा शोध लॅब मध्ये लावला आणि मग नंतर मी जेव्हा लिटरेचर सर्च करताना मला लक्षात येतं की तोचा शोध कोणीतरी ऑलरेडी लावलेला आहे आणि त्याच्यावरती पेपर आहे किंवा त्यावर पेटंट ऑलरेडी कोणीतरी घेतलेला आहे आणि मी तर अनेक वर्ष ते रिसर्च करण्यामध्ये वाया घालवली आहेत. मग अशा वेळी मला पेटंट हवंच असतं. मग मी काय करते, अशा वेळी मी असं करते की मी त्या इन्व्हेन्शन मध्ये एक छोटासा बदल करते, जेणेकरून ते अस्तित्वात असलेल्या इन्व्हेन्शन पेक्षा थोडंसं वेगळं दिसेल. ओके, आणि त्यामुळे नॉव्हेल्टीचा जो पहिला क्रायटेरिया आहे हा पास होईल, कारण मी थोडासा केलाय माझ्या इन्व्हेन्शन मध्ये आणि त्यामुळे ते इन्व्हेन्शन वेगळं दिसायला लागलेलं आहे. पण तो जो बदल केलेला आहे तो बदल त्या विषयातलं बेसिक नॉलेज असलेल्या माणसासाठी अगदी ऑब्वियस आहे की नॉन ऑब्वियस आहे, हे दुसरा क्रायटेरिया पेटंट ऑफिस वापरतं की इज इट ऑब्वियस फॉर अ पर्सन टू मेक दॅट चेंज ऑर इट इज नॉन ऑब्वियस. जर तो नॉन ऑब्वियस असेल तर तुम्हाला पेटंट मिळेल, ऑब्वियस असेल तर मिळणार नाही. ही एक फार फेमस केस आहे, हॉचकिस वर्सेस ग्रीनवूड नावाची, त्याच्यावरून तुम्हाला नॉन ऑब्वियसनेसचा अर्थ कळेल. हॉचकिस नावाच्या एका सायंटिस्टनी एका माणसाला
मॅम sorry for interrupt. Some participants are from out of Maharashtra, so they are unable to understand.
All right.
So if you mix the languages, yes.
All right. Okay. So Hotchkiss was a person who obtained a patent on a doorknob. हा एक साधा doorknob आहे, and he obtained a patent on a doorknob, and that doorknob was made up of porcelain or china clay, and he obtained a patent on that. Now, similar kind of knob was made up by Greenwood. Okay, and Hotchkiss had obtained a patent on the doorknob, and Greenwood made the same knob with the same design. You can see here, one is a doorknob by Hotchkiss and the other is the doorknob by Greenwood. The only difference was Hotchkiss's doorknob was made up of porcelain and Greenwood's doorknob was made up of wood and metal. Okay, so then is it obvious or non-obvious? Is it novel? If there is a patent on a porcelain doorknob and there is a somebody has there is a patent on porcelain doorknob and somebody has tried to make a doorknob made up of wood or metal, then is it novel? Obviously it is novel. But is it non-obvious? No. For a person trained in the art, it is very obvious that if somebody has made that knob from clay, then let me try making it in wood or metal. So even if this knob passed the first criteria of novelty, it will fail at the second criteria of inventive step or non-obviousness. So because of failing at the second criteria, you will not get the patent. So that is the meaning of the second criteria, that is non-obviousness. Let us skip this. This is not needed. So when it is said that a particular invention is non-obvious over the other, these are the two things, that it either has a technical advance over the already existing invention, or it has a economic significance, or it has both. Okay, so either it is technically advanced than the similar invention which already exists, or it has an economic significance over the invention which already exists. And to whom it should be non-obvious? To a person skilled in the art, not to a common man, to a person who understands that area of technology. For him, if the invention is non-obvious, then you get a patent, otherwise you don't get a patent. It's not needed. Okay, and the third criteria is industrial application or utility. The third question you should ask is, can we actually make this invention on an industrial scale, or it is just for it cannot be made? For example, Newton's third law of motion. Can you get a patent on Newton's third law of motion? No. Why not? Because there are several reasons why you can't get a patent on third law of motion. Number one is it was not an invention and it was a discovery. Newton did not make that phenomenon. It always existed in nature. He just discovered it. So it is a discovery and not an invention. Secondly, can you manufacture the law of motion in the industrially? No. But then if you try to file a patent on a rocket, which works on the principle of third law of motion, does it have industrial application? Yes. So a rocket which works on the principle of Newton's third law of motion will get a patent, but third law of motion itself would not get a patent because it does not have an industrial application. So please understand that patents are given on technology. It is given on applied science and not on pure science. So these are the three criteria of patentability. So the 5 questions which you should ask being an academic researcher when you feel that you should be applying for a patent on something which you have created, the first question you should ask is it a invention or a discovery? Number 2, is it a product or a process to make a product? Number 3, is it novel? Number 4, is it non-obvious? And number 5, does it have industrial application? If the answers to all these questions are yes, then the last thing which you have to check is it should not fall within list of non-patentable subject matter. Here, it should not fall under the list of non-patentable subject matter. Yeah. So, what do you mean by non-patentable subject matter? Somebody has clicked on presentation mode. Yeah. So what is?
Yes, ma'am.
Hamla ka echo? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So some types of subject matters are not considered patentable, even though they fulfill all the criteria of patentability. The first is living organisms. So you can't file patents on living organisms because generally the living organisms are made by nature and not by man. But if it is a man-made living organism, like if a microbiologist has created a new bacteria in his lab by carrying out some genetic manipulations, then it does get a patent. But the living or forms which are existing in nature, you can't file a patent on that. Softwares are not patentable because softwares are considered to be mathematical algorithms and you get a copyright on softwares and not patents. Business methods are not considered patentable, again because they are neither a product nor a process to make a product. For example, you all have heard about the marketing strategy of Amway or Tupperware. So it is a multi-level marketing system. So it is a method of doing business. It is a business method. Do you get a patent on business methods? No. Howsoever great the business idea is, you can't have a patent on that. Again, because it is neither a product nor a process to make a product. So living organisms, softwares and business methods are considered non-patentable in general in every part of the world. In India, there is a list of exclusions or a list of inventions which are considered non-patentable in India. They are listed in Section 3 of the Indian Patent Act. So Section 3A says that when an invention is frivolous or it claims anything obviously contrary to a well-established natural law. So if I say that I have made a machine in which the output is more than input. So the well-established natural law is the output cannot be more than the input. So if I am claiming that I have made a machine in which the output is more than input, then it is obviously contrary to the well-established natural law and I can't get a patent on that. Or I have said that I have made a machine in which you can time travel. It is a time machine. So we know that it is not possible. So you can't get a patent on this type of invention, even though it satisfies all the criteria of patentability. It is novel, it is non-obvious, it can be made industrially, it is a product, it is an invention, but still you will not get a patent, because according to section 3A, you can't get a patent on something which is obviously contrary to a well-established natural law. Just a moment. Yeah. Then section 3B of the Indian Patent Act says that you can't get patent on something which is obviously contrary to public order or morality. So you have manufactured a gambling machine, or you have invented a device for housebreaking. So even if it is novel, it satisfies all the criteria of patentability, it would not get a patent because it is against morality. It will disturb the public order. If you have merely discovered a scientific principle, जसं E is equal to mc square, Einstein's theory of relativity, it is a discovery of a scientific principle, or you have formulated an abstract theory, you have discovered any living thing, or discovery of a non-living substance occurring in the nature. For example, I have discovered a new ore of iron. It is a non-living substance, but it is occurring in nature. So you will not get a patent on this. For example, Newton's law, or property of certain materials to withstand mechanical shocks. These are the discoveries. You have not created them, so you will not get a patent. You will not get a patents on naturally occurring microorganisms, but genetically modified microorganisms are patentable. Section 3D, the mere discovery of a new form of a known substance which does not result in the enhancement of known efficacy of that substance is not patentable. Now, this section is purely related to pharmaceuticals, and for pharma it is an extremely important section, but I would not like to go into the details of this because we hardly have anybody from pharma here. But it says that if a particular medicine is available in the market and I have just made some I have discovered a new form of that substance. So suppose it is a new salt or new ester of already existing substance, but though it is a new form, there is no enhancement in the known efficacy of that substance. It is not improving the therapeutic efficacy of that substance. I will not get a patent. Let's not get into the details of this section. If we have merely mixed two substances to create a new substance, then you will not get a patent. But mere admixture of two substances resulting only in the aggregation of the properties of the substances. For example, if I mix sugar with salt, then the mixture is going to be tasting like partly like salt and partly like sugar. So it is merely an addition, aggregation of the properties. But if I mix salt and sugar and the resulting mixture tastes bitter, there is a change in the taste, then I may get a patent. But if there is merely admixture of two substances which results in aggregation of the properties of the components, will not get a patent. Mere arrangement or rearrangement of duplication of known devices. I have just combined two devices, each functioning independently of one another in a known way. For example, I have fitted a torch on a bucket, but the bucket is going to be used like a bucket. The torch will function like a torch. I have just added torch to a bucket, or a fan to an umbrella, or a clock and radio together, or a flour mill provided with a sieve. I will not get a patent on this because this is merely an arrangement and rearrangement of two known devices. A method of agriculture or horticulture is not patentable in India. Any process for medical, surgical, curative, prophylactic, diagnostic, therapeutic treatment. So a new method of performing a surgery is not patentable in India because by not giving a patents on this, you make things inexpensive. The healthcare related things or procedures would be made less expensive. They would be made cheaper. Plants or animals in whole, because plants and animals are created by nature, or any part of the plants and organisms other than microorganisms are not patentable. Then any mathematical method, for example, Vedic mathematics or abacus, any new business method or mathematical algorithm or computer programs per se are not patentable. But if the computer programs are a part of a hardware, then they can get a patent. Any literary, dramatic, musical or artistic work or any other aesthetic creation does not get a patent because you get a copyrights on this. So they are protected by a different form of intellectual property. A mere scheme or a rule or a method of performing mental act or a method of playing game. I gave you an example of Rubik Cube or a new method of playing chess. You will not get a patent. Method of learning a new language, method of teaching or learning, method of solving a crossword puzzle, scheme for learning a language, you don't get a patent on that. Merely a presentation of information, like any manner or method of expressing information, whether by spoken words, माझं speech असेल, or a visual display like these slides. It is a known information which is just being presented, which is just being compiled in the form of a symbol or diagram. You will not get a patent. Topography of integrated circuits, you don't get a patent. Inventions which are traditional knowledge, just like haldi being antiseptic or adursa being anti-cough, which is a traditional knowledge known to people in India for generations, you will not get a patent. Inventions which are falling within, according to Section 4, inventions falling within the section of Atomic Energy Act. So any invention which is related to atomic energy, which are relating to compounds to create atomic energy like uranium, beryllium, thorium, plutonium, lithium, you don't get patents on that in India. Okay, so this was in short a presentation for academic researchers to find out whether the academic research which you have created in your lab is patentable or not. And the questions you should ask is, number one, I repeat again, whether it is an invention or a discovery, whether it is a product or a process to make a product, whether it is novel, does it have industrial application, is it non-obvious, and does it fall under the non-patentable subject matter. So I think in brief, this is enough for academic researchers, and the session is open for question and answers. So you can ask questions if you have any.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your resourceful and guiding talk on basics of IPR. Once again, I thank you. I request all the participants to ask the query and questions regarding the content of the talk. Is there anyone? If anyone have a question, please raise your hand. It is the option.
Okay, so no questions. We can stop here.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Now it is time for the presidential address of this webinar. I request to Honorable Principal Dr. Milind Ujre sir to deliver the presidential speech.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible? आवाज येतो का सर? Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, all, and thank you so much, Dr. Murdulaji Belle, madam, for your enlightening speech on basics of IPR, patenting in academic research. And thank you very much, Principal Dr. Vihar Chavan, madam, for organizing this webinar jointly through Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Sri Vijay Singh Yadav College and Padma Bhushan Dr. Vasantarao Dada Patil College, Tasgaon. Recently, accreditation bodies of higher institutes have insisted for creating awareness of intellectual property right in academic and research institutes. The reason is obvious. The study shows low IPR awareness in India, despite being actively engaged in research and new innovations. Over 35% people are not aware of IPR. Dr. Murdulaji Belle, madam, in her speech has elaborated basics in IPR and need for patenting in academic research. She has emphasized what can be patented and what cannot be patented very rightly. In academic research, publications has certain advantages, but the patent can be more useful. Researchers in India believe that as a scientist, their job is to put their inventions in public domain and allow the manufacturing companies to use it freely so as to develop products for their commercial applications. While believing this, they ignore the other side of story that says that companies would not invest or put their time, efforts, and money to develop scientific inventions which is still at prototype stage. This fact encourages many academic researchers, inventors, to patent their inventions so that they can attract industrial investment to convert their prototype into commercial developed products and applications. There is a debate in research area whether academic research shall be patented or not. But in my view, patenting facilitates the technology transfer, that is making knowledge available to the general public. Moreover, it also makes universities and research institutes, technology institutes, self-sufficient to fund their basic research. Thank you so much, Murdulaji madam, for giving very important and excellent information about patenting, process of patenting, and need for processing. As far as my college is concerned, my college is Padma Bhushan Dr. Vasantarao Dada Patil Mahavidyalaya, located in Tasgaon, district Sangli, Maharashtra. This college is one of the renowned colleges of Sri Swami Vivekananda Shikshan Sanstha, Kolhapur, which has been founded by Shikshan Maharishi Dr. Bapuji Salunke with the motto Jnana, Vijnana and Susanskar Yasati Shikshan Prasad. Today, my college offers programs at UG and PG level. I would like to mention here, our college has chemistry, botany, physics, and zoology laboratories, which are recognized as research laboratories by Shivaji University. And so many researchers are presently doing research in various aspects of chemistry, botany, physics, and zoology. I would like to proudly mention here, recently one of my colleagues from chemistry department, my faculty, has got patent in process of chemical reaction. And this is a very proud moment for our college. And fortunately, Vijay Singh Yadav College, Vadgaon, their IQAC cell, and particularly I would like to mention Principal Dr. Vijaya Chavan has organized this webinar on basics in patents and need for patenting in academic research. Thank you, Madam, for your enlightening speech. At this moment, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the IQAC team of both the colleges, my colleague Dr. S.S. Patil, Director IQAC, PDUP College, Tasgaon, Dr. C.V. Mane, Director IQAC, Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon, all the organizers, Arjun Kumbar, Professor Bhandari, Dr. Atigre, and IQAC team. Thank you for very nice organization of this webinar. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we are moving towards the end of the webinar. Due to some technical problem, our criterion 3 head, Dr. Rajaram Atigre sir will propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So today, two colleges, Sri Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon, and Padma Bhushan Dr. Vasantrao Dada Patil Mahavidyalaya, Tasgaon, have jointly organized a national webinar on basics of IPR, patenting in academic research. Dear colleagues, I am here to propose vote of thanks for this today's webinar. First of all, I am very much thankful to our resource person, Honorable Dr. Mridula Vele ma'am, Associate Professor, NDMVP's College of Pharmacy, Nashik. She very nicely explained about basics of IPR, how the patents can be filed, when the patent should be filed, and what is the procedure or protocol for filing this patent. Also, she explained about the procedure and the drawbacks or do's and don'ts of the patenting process. Even if a scientist or a person is doing his PhD, when should he file his patent? She explained this thing very nicely. So, on behalf of IQAC and the colleges of this webinar organizer, I am very much thankful to Dr. Bele ma'am. Secondly, I am thankful to principals of both the colleges. Principal Dr. Milind Udre sir, Padma Bhushan Dr. Vasantrao Dada Patil Mahavidyalaya, Tasgaon, and Principal Dr. Vijaya Chavan ma'am, Sri Vijay Singh Yadav College, Pet Vadgaon, for supporting us, for supporting both the IQACs for organization of this webinar. The most important thing is the participants. Today, about 100 participants have joined this webinar from the Maharashtra as well as from out of Maharashtra. And some of the participants have suggested about to discuss the webinar in English only because they are out of Maharashtra. So I am thankful to all these persons, the participants who have joined this webinar and made it a great success. Lastly, I am thankful to all the IQAC members and the criteria heads of both the colleges in associating the organization of this national webinar here and this online platform. Thank you one and all for such a great support to the IQAC. Thank you very much.